Alright, welcome to Just Magic the Gathering. I was basically just getting logged in for the day. I checked the store, and they have some, in my opinion, pretty good deals. Everything's 85% off, which means for a common, it's like 300, and for a mythic, it's 900. So I was entertaining picking up a couple of the cosmetics for cards I own, because the Kinspark Duo I actually ran in my Otter deck for a bit, and the Carrot Cake. This, as far as creating tokens, etc., this might actually work well with a token deck, and it's a life gain, so it would work well with my kitty collectors, and either way, figured spend 600 my coins. Probably should have spent it on packs, but 85% off. Figured I'd take advantage of the deal. I did get a new daily, so I'm looking at white or red or white or black. So I could just continue to hammer my token deck and see how it works. And it'll progress both those rings. I was just wondering about maybe switching back to my lifelink deck. I do kind of like my lifelink deck. I was wondering about what I could do to tweak this deck a little bit too. The other day I mentioned I was looking for potentially doing another mythic token in this one for the dollhouse. And I was wondering about using another one for another Ouroboros and touching up my green deck a little more. I like the looks of that. At least kind of. I don't have anything that'll generate me tokens. But I can do my Authority of Councils, my Helpful Hunter, depends what I get for mana. Red, white. The Temple of Triumph. Yeah, it's all Grippo cards. It's the wanted. So, he might be playing Rush as red-white. There are some cards that, because red is a haystack potentially. Let's see if I can get any more information. Black, red, white, black. He's playing Mardu. He put out his own Authority of Councils. The last thing I needed was a third Caretaker's talent. I only have 3 in the deck. Equipped creature gets +3/+1. At the beginning of your end step, if a non-land permanent left your battlefield or a spell was warped in, attach this equipment to that creature you control. And he did a decode transmission. I don't have enough to do both. I will get him one more life. And hopefully this is a... It's card draw at least. Painful Quandaries. Spells now cost me mana to cast. Unless I discard a card. Wait, that's the last thing I needed. I'm assuming he has a Another painful quandary. That's painful. I'll discard my land because it's going to replace itself. And yeah, just go for my token increase, or I don't have much to go on at this point. You can play something like split up and wipe the field. I'm pretty heavily reliant on top decking. And spells are going to make me have to discard. The Bandit's Talent forces me to discard. I destroyed my Caretaker's Talent. At this point he only has the 1 mana. The painful quandary is what will get me if I'm not careful. At the beginning of your upkeep, the player has 1 or fewer lives. Get a replacement that I'm going to save for potential discard if I need. But I'm assuming he's running basically a discard deck. Just trying to figure out what would be the best thing to kill. I don't know why that was the only one I could select. I'm happy with that, though. I was almost wondering about going with the cat. So that'll get me the life token. Draw 3 cards. Oh. That doesn't actually surprise me. Had to wipe all, destroy all creatures, and you gain 1 for each life. Bye-bye, painful quandary. I'll get rid of Elspeth's Smite, because he doesn't have any creatures to generate. If I do Ornobo, return to the battle transformed as a 4/5. Scry 1. He has a whole handful of cards still. It is the End Stone. Has a 7/6. He is going to get some life off of it. And I'm glad to actually see that. Because I can duty Beyond Death if he tries to do a board wipe. And I'm pretty sure that's just game right here. Draw a card. At the beginning of each draw step, opponent who has 1 or fewer cards. Two points of damage. So, going back to not necessarily fair. If he could have clobbered the room, or going back to the doll maker shop is mean. I've definitely won multiple games now because of just that card. I mean, it plays well with the other tokens. The one thing, I don't necessarily need to work a full ring either, just because... yeah, I have room for tomorrow's daily, but if I can get another quick game in, I was just looking at them about 10 minutes in. So, kind of like the looks of it. Depending on what they're up to. I like seeing the card draw. Even though they're commons, they've replaced themselves. He's probably playing a rabbit deck. Because now other creatures are going to get him to heal. Look, another rabbit. Target creatures get +1/+1 until end of turn. Activate only as a sorcery. The Sun Shower Druid. When this creature enters, put a +1/+1 on target creature, and you gain 1 life. At this point, I can't really do anything other than my Helpful Hunter. My Cat Collector. So, I am liking how that's shaping up. If I didn't take the sacrifice here, he would have been a 2/2 now, and been able to soak up and not die, and it would only save me the 1 damage. This questioning, it might be better to stay wider. No blocks. At this point, he is playing cheap. And if I do something like the Authority of Councils... I was wondering about doing the Helpful Hunter. Because I wouldn't mind getting the Regal Caracal out. That's a 2/3. No attacks. Because that'll push him up to the 3/3s, but he gets the... I'm assuming he can actually pump him 2/2 in this game right here. Nope. So if I do the Cat Collector, I can pop the 1 to get yet another token. Or I can do the cat tokens with lifelink and have lifelink. Is he going to try and nope it? So... it hits hard and fast, or even just the kitties and lifelink. In fact, I went from pretty much dead to being wider than he could control. And was that enough? No, still not enough. Either way, I'm going to call it good for the day and look forward to doing some magic in the future.